Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Adobe Live. So happy to have you here today, joining us with Matthew, a good friend for a long time, and also someone I'm very excited to see the process of. Matthew, welcome to Adobe Live again. It's great to have you back.
Well, hi everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to jump into concept to vector. But first, I guess a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I love, love, love illustration. I love vector design. It's something that is just such a hidden craft by some people that are using Illustrator to build out these beautiful illustrations. So I'm trying to follow in their footsteps, trying to get kind of in that level as them, as the people I look up to. But here's a little bit of my work. I'll share it on the screen right now. Just pulling it up.
Yeah, we were just looking
Um,
at this and it's so cool. It's so cool. Pay
yeah.
attention, everyone.
So I have some stuff that I've worked on in my professional life, but also some fan art. I'm a huge, huge like nerd when it comes to so many stuff, especially things like Pokemon or Studio Ghibli. So I've kind of
Mhm.
geared my portfolio to things that I'm just such a big fan of that are just these crazy blown out concepts of oh, like what if this was a clothing line? What if this was a campaign? How would you kind of build that out? All the graphics that you see here are turned into vector. So that's kind of where my niche lies. I
So
love
cool.
doing anything raster, but then bringing that into vector so that it has its scalability so that you can fabricate with it, so that you can screen print with it, so that it can go into a production environment. So operating like that and then doing things like a storefront. So modeling that out, finding those widths, those your bleed margins, if you will, and finding little
Right.
opportunities to keep telling stories. So yeah, I'm a big fan of things like that. Same thing goes for Studio Ghibli. I did this recently too. I am not a character artist. I wouldn't consider myself one, but I sketched and drew and vectorized all these characters myself.
So
Um,
impressive, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. But kind of while I was doing that, yeah, it kind of ate into what you would say like is a lot of time. So kind of in the spirit of figuring out like what are some great ways that we can take our sketches, our concepts, and kind of turn them into vectors. What are the best ways to kind of do that now? I'll very much point to the feature we're going to be highlighting today, concept to vector.
Yeah,
So
concept to
what?
vector is incredible. Like incredible
Yes,
stuff.
it is truly insane. I mean, I've been playing around with it, kind of preparing for this stream in the beta version, which you can now access kind of alongside me. It is truly a crazy thing. I am so blown away by it and kind of how far it's come. I remember kind of in 23 when Adobe debuted a lot of these products, and there was kind of some raised eyebrows and whatnot, but kind of now these, I would say that a lot of them are, you kind of see them in production now,
Right.
kind of little things here and there, but it's truly changed the game as someone that still works in that environment. It's streamlined my process greatly and it's saved me a lot of time so I can focus on really fleshing out those concepts and finding all those different great things in our designs. So yeah, I'm just kind of touching back on that. These are great for rough sketches and
Yeah.
maybe even reference images or low quality photos that you might have that you're going to want to flesh out and find those details again. But this is not, and I want to like emphasize this too, it's not a replacement for image trace. Image trace is still great for getting that fidelity and is not using any generative content or credits as you're
Right.
using image trace. So image trace stays, it's the same, and it's great. It's perfect. I use image trace for kind of all those raster brush effects that you'd seen. So turning those into vector, which image trace, still just as powerful as it has been. So it's fantastic.
So we've got a couple
And
of different tools in the arsenal now, like with they're just adding more tools, and I feel like we're in this kind of world now of design and specifically Illustrator because we've been seeing so many changes with turntable and with sketch to vector and
yeah,
with generative recolor to where we're kind of in the transformative period of hey, like we're going to be adding more things, like we're just going to be giving you more tools, more like line tools and curvature tools and trace tools, and it makes our jobs, I feel like, easier in the long run, right?
yeah. I mean, it is kind of a weird thing because I feel like many, as you were kind of pointing out, like there are all these different tools. So many of like designers in kind of my professional life, we're going to third-party tools to kind of get
Right.
that fidelity, and then bringing that back as it maybe like an SGB file or a vector or that vector information back into Illustrator, which through kind of other third-party programs, you are capable of just copy and pasting some vector information. So now being able to just build it all out here in the beta app that I have pulled up on my screen is fantastic. So kind of
Everything
further jumping
native.
back, yes, and you're not having to jump back and forth. And honestly, I cleared like 200 gigabytes of storage yesterday of unused applications because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe I'll use this feature, but then that third party feature is not where I need it to be.
Right.
So I just end up going back to Illustrator anyways. So it's truly a fun thing. But let's jump into the artboard right now.
Yeah,
So
I'm
kind of
excited.
ongoing with the Adobe Live community is the monthly briefs. And one of the monthly briefs this month, kind of as we close out May, is kind of this futuristic space theme. So
Hmm.
whenever we think about the future in space, I feel like a lot of us think about that clean monochrome designs, kind of associating with like high future, very Star Warsy, or high luxury in Star Wars. I'd say Star Wars is
Right,
still
right,
very
right, right.
grungy in some sectors, but we think about those clean forms, clean lines, and honestly, there's the other end where futuristic space theme also leans military. And I wouldn't say I necessarily want the future to look like that. I very much grew up in the 2000s where we were always shown steampunk stuff.
Yes,
So
yes.
I love that interpretation of the future where you see all these different tubes connecting into a vehicle that is doing something otherworldly. All those tubes must mean that it's doing something amazing, something crazy, and stuff like that's really cool.
Hmm.
So what I'm gonna have pulled up right here are three sketches that
Oh,
I worked on at the
nice.
start of this year. But because of all the craziness that happens at the start of the year, I didn't get to finish all of these out. But I had this idea of designs. As a designer, we deliver them anywhere. We can do that over the internet. But
Right.
what if, we couldn't? What if we had to drop off and deliver those packages all the time? And as a production designer too, we do have to do that. So
Yeah.
what are the best ways that we can also guarantee that, but also, have a little bit of fun, kind of really work on those qualities. So on the right, we have the kind of the first anchor illustration, if you will, kind of that I started with. Just like, hey, like a cloud city's fun, just buildings floating kind of about in the sky, but also not necessarily spaceships. Wings are cool. Let's do wings. Who doesn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
wings? And
It's
then
got that
on
like retro futuristic kind of
Yes,
vibe,
that's
which is really cool.
exactly what I'm going for. Yeah. And then the middle one is leans to exactly what you're talking about, that retro future that I'm kind of always thinking about when I'm producing artwork. Just kind of a city under the sea. It's kind of crazy we don't have those
Yeah.
at such a big capacity as maybe we thought 50 years ago or
Right,
10
right.
years ago, maybe
Where's our
even.
Atlantis, dude? Come on.
I know. Well, let's make sure we don't lose it this time.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
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 let's
yeah.
make it
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
advance.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's make sure that city doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
Um, and then kind of the one on the right is a little less futuristic. So kind of I was thinking more about things like Indiana Jones, and kind of that era where cars used to look like that. Indiana
Yeah, man.
Jones or things like Legend of Korra. I think
Yes,
about Legend of
yes.
Korra a lot.
Dude, so
Um,
I'm so glad that you said that, and I'm sorry to cut you off,
right.
but there is a level of action in your sketching, specifically in this left side, that reminds me so much of the like Avatar era
Yeah. Well, I
cartoons.
appreciate it. Thank
It's
you. First of
awesome.
all, I'm gonna say hi to Pearly Cream Cheese.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on this stream. But yeah, I think like when I was making this, I was kind of inspired by that first scene in Korra, the first episode where she reaches this larger than life city for the first time, and she's stopping this robbery, but causing all these
Right.
like all this havoc. And I was thinking about the car chase in particular. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that's how that scene went.
I believe
So that's
so.
kind of the inspiration that I was kind of taking with that. But kind of without further ado, this is a great place to jump off of.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
excited.
ungroup these and kind of drag these in here. So there are so many different ways we can kind of go about using concept vector here, and we can kind of see some different iterations that we can even use. So
Mhm.
let's go ahead and use some of these presets already. This is quote unquote line art, right? But it's
Right.
just a simple sketch that I maybe did on my iPad per se, right? But it's not clean line art that I'm looking for to edit with, to make with. So let's go ahead and try using that first one. Let's try using line art and let's just hit generate. So this is using the Gemini model from Google. It's using 40 generative credits. From my plan specifically, I have around
Hmm.
like 60,000 generative credits a month.
Hmm.
So you still have a lot of room to play with, but you can also go back and change the models. In
Right.
Adobe Firefly, I really like using the Gemini model. It's always giving
It's
me
good,
some
man.
really solid results.
It's sharp.
It's truly what a time to be alive.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is truly incredible what it's capable of doing, and I love the fact that we're able to tap into different models because again, people like playing with different amounts of fidelity that they give you.
Right.
Same thing with different actions and resources that it's pulling from. So it truly is. I don't know. It's a cool thing.
It
But
definitely opens up the door to, like, more options, more things, more exploration, and I see a lot of
yeah.
people that prefer Gemini, and we had someone on that did a splash page a few years ago that he actually prefers Firefly because all these things kind of pull, in terms of reference or, like,
Mm,
contextually from different places, and I think that's what
I
makes this
see.
so fun, you know?
Yeah. Whoa.
Wow.
Out of the oven. I it looks wow. That's
Wow.
those are clean. That's clean line work actually.
Yeah. Those are
Wow.
vectors, man. That's
Whoa,
nuts.
man. So let's hit Command Y so we can check out those outlines. Oh
Jeez.
my gosh, that's so close. It's missing just the brim of this hat here.
Yeah.
But it's over also these overlapping lines. So honestly, I'm not expecting the generative models to understand kind of my thought process completely. But man, is it pretty
Building off of
close?
this is pretty nuts, like, adding a few extra lines, and that was just no time at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy and paste this kind of to the side because I'm gonna want to use this live
Yeah.
generative feature at the moment. But I'm gonna go to Object and Expand Appearance just so I know kind of what to work with these lines. I'm just gonna
Right,
ungroup
right.
these just really quickly. Let's see here.
Man.
So we can kind of already. Oh, I've expanded it too much because now it's not live lines. So let's just Command Z all the way back. You can kind of see that these curves need a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Let's look at mine. Yeah, mine wasn't even connected, so it's one of those things where it's like I'm not going to blame
Right.
um, the trace over per se. But this is great work to work with. Yeah, I mean, like this is still I would say following that curve.
Mhm,
It just needs
mhm.
to move over one more, and then I'll
Just a
just delete this extra
little
point here.
nudge, you know? That's the fun of it too, though,
Yeah,
because you kinda get into the nitty-gritty of it, and this kind of eliminates or at least kind of helps fast track. I don't wanna say eliminate, but helps fast track that kind of
yeah,
monotonous
one
side
thousand percent.
of illustrating specifically
Yeah.
in vector.
Or even just like taking kind of the rest artwork that you've made. And we've had this so many. I'm sure this has happened to you, Jake. You make so much stuff nowadays, but having something you made in raster and then the vendor going, "Hey, do you have an Illustrator file of this?" And you're
Yep,
going, I'll be right back." And then you see
yep,
them in like a week, and your
yep.
timetables push back. This this changes everything to that
Right.
degree. But from my kind of aspect, I'm doing a lot of fabricating now, so it's thinking about the CNC machines in mind, how those die cuts are going to look. Either at a small scale, we might not see those mistakes, but at a large scale, you can see the crick in the neck. Sorry,
Yeah.
just been thinking about that scene. But we want the lines to be as clean as possible. So I'm just going to use my lasso tool here. I've just hit Q, selecting all of these. Oh, I've selected all of them. I'm going to direct select yet again. Um, like that and just hit simplify. So
Nice.
it's already giving me that clean line and I can make those adjustments as is. Sometimes you can kind of see that there's like you can see a little bit of a bend if you've got the eye for it.
Yeah.
Um, so just adjusting that ever so slightly will help kind of fix that.
The
And
value I see with this type of program too is, like, I know
mm,
I'm backtracking a little bit, but, like,
no,
man,
no,
like,
no, yeah.
I think about the projects I've had even recently of, like, I designed a
Hmm.
something for a client and they're just like, "I just need a
Hmm.
PNG. I just need a blank PNG." And I say, "Okay, cool." So I give them the blank PNG and I delete the file completely. And I'm just like, "I don't need it anymore because this was, like, for a super small
Right, right.
project." And then they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, like, I need that for, like, business cards. I need to scale it down. I also plan on putting it on postcards, so I need to scale it up." And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Well, I only have the PNG." And this seems like a little bit of a way to kinda get around that without having to completely
Yeah.
redesign it. from
Yeah, and then
scratch.
it gives you that opportunity to even just clean it up once it's
Right.
kind of laid down the groundwork, just kind of the way that we're doing now. I'll just really quickly go in and do it here. It's not as big of a deal as maybe that large noticeable curve, but I mean, it's gotten rid of
Mm.
it. It's fantastic. And then I'm just going to use zoom here, get as close as I can, and then you just connect these two. That's just my personal preference. I do prefer my lines to be connected, even though
Same here.
with you can kind of see that they're already connected. So that's how you would kind of go in and clean up that line work. Same
Right.
thing goes with here. So let's see. I would greatly prefer this to reach out to the bottom because this is the
Hmm.
frontmost building. So I'm going
Gotcha.
to just direct select those and using our, let's see, I need free transform. Yes, free transform.
Nice.
I'm just gonna pull this all the way down. There are many different ways to achieve that, but that's just kind of my preference. So it's directly selecting those lines in particular, or it should have been.
I really
And then,
like watching this process. It's very different for all different types of people, you know,
oh
like
gosh, yeah,
how to get to that point. And this is interesting. I've never used a free
thank you.
transform tool before.
Yeah, no, the free transform tool is, oh, dude, it's rad. Tyler, the creative pain, was the
Yep.
one that kind of showed me the ropes to that degree. I saw him perform live at one point and at Crop, a creative convention last year.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, he's a beast with it.
The
And
vector
then I'm just
goat.
going to use he is the vector go 1000%. And then I'm going to use our warp tool right here, Shift R, direct selecting those lines again. You know, to some degree, you can always just redraw them, but
Hmm.
the free transform tool for me just lets me have some fun. It lets me play around
Nice.
so much. And it's already simplifying that line just because of the setting we have here. It's both retaining the detail or sorry, introducing more detail. So it can introduce more points to your line work. So you can always just, you can just disable these so that it doesn't introduce any points. So the point number stays the same if that's very important to you. It'll also simplify it. So it's simplifying it 50% of the time. My preference is not to use the simplify tool because I like using the kind of built-in smooth tool just to draw over those lines. Again, it's adding those illustrative features to Illustrator, those
Right.
capabilities, those actions, those physical actions where it's helping the creative process by um, helping me engage with it so much more. So
Absolutely.
yeah, those are those settings, and we kind of have something really good to work with here as well. And you can
It's just like a
always, if
playground.
yeah, and if you kind of get these weird little curves right here, these are just kind of these warp activating this way, these Bezier curves. I can never say it
Hmm.
right. So you can
I
either
think you
kind
got it.
of go in, yeah, hopefully. I'm not the best with my pronunciation with anything nowadays. Um, but yeah, looking good. It looks very
Yeah, this is
cartoony,
looking
very
great.
very Roger Rabbity, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend too much time on these ones. We're already 20 minutes in, just because we have so much to get through.
Yeah, a lot to
I want to
cover
see
today.
so much more of kind of what concept vector is. I'm just going to really quickly kind of fix this guy right here using the direct select tool and hitting isolate select the path. So then we don't have to double click all those times. And then let's
Nice.
see, I'm just going to simplify the whole thing. Just saves
So
me some time.
do you typically use the simplify option more? Or
Yeah.
like do you kind of bounce between? Because one thing that I would say differs from like my process versus yours, and I think
Mm.
I will be using the simplify more is I tend to navigate, or I should say like float towards like the smooth option in
Mhm.
Illustrator. I don't know if
Yeah,
you're
are
one
you
that uses
referring
that
are you
more often.
referring to this guy?
There's a way that you can actually click on lines, and there, if you go to object and like
Mhm.
paths, there's a smooth option, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like
I think it's the same
oversimplifies
one.
everything.
It's the same one as this one.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
that one,
So
that one.
it'll do this. Well,
Yes.
this is the same tool, the smooth tool here. So if you were to select
Oh,
something, so this is just that tool expanded upon, if you will.
I
So let's see.
see.
You know what? I'm trying to find some really bad line work, but like this is all
It's
really
doing
good.
pretty good, man.
Um, even let's see, okay, this one is still separated. So I'm just going to let's see, I'm gonna like let's say I was missing a point in this
Hmm.
line right here, right? So they
Hmm.
have to connect. So I'm just gonna command join these 2 points. So I have one line, and then so I will using the smooth tool, I will select this. Um, Sorry, I haven't normally keybind. So this is the beta, so I do not have my keybinds here.
Fair enough.
So you can use the smooth tool and it'll smooth out the whole thing. But at the same time, you can just use the cursor that it gives you for the smooth tool built in the toolbar. Just draw.
I definitely did not know that there was a cursor that you get with it too. So that's a learning
Dude,
experience for
yeah,
me. That's nuts.
it's there's always something new to find out about this, about
Right.
Illustrator, sorry, not just this. Yeah, but let's continue. I'm just gonna really quickly highlight here that we
Hmm.
can kind of see that it did not produce the box kind of fully to kind of the degree that I'm looking for.
Right.
So kind of in place of this, especially when we're looking for those sharp lines, sharp edges, um, Illustrator kind of is, I'm building it out in Illustrator is still definitely the way to go. Kind of just really quickly, how I would do that, I would just use the free transform tool, and then kind of just using my distorts, just move these around kind of as such,
Yeah.
and then copy and pasting. It's a box, so these edges are matching. I'll just copy and paste directly on top, and then I'll just
Oh,
be making a
nice.
box directly on top of it. So just looking for that more cartoony feel. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Philly cream and cheese. You don't even have to be exactly on the line. Yeah, no, smooth tool, great stuff. But also, it's just they've been really working on Illustrator so much recently that it's
Right.
there are things where it's like, oh, like I love Illustrator. Why do I want it to change? You don't think about the quality of
Right.
life stuff because it's the way that you want it. It's the way that you worked with it. And then
Hmm.
they introduce these quality of life features, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that this could be improved on. So
Yeah.
it's a cool thing. It's a cool
It's
thing
the
for
nature
sure.
of the software too, is it's constantly changing, and we're in a world now, especially in the professional world, where I feel like you can speak to a little bit more than maybe I can because I've been more in the freelance side of the professional world, where
Hmm.
the expectations for clients, the expectations for these larger companies are getting higher and higher and higher. So it seems like, at least based on feedback from Adobe and based on just general the screaming of us as artists wanting things to change,
Yeah,
they're finally starting to implement these features not only consistently but quickly. So these things change so fast of like, oh, you want an updated join tool? We're fixing it. You want an updated image trace tool? We fixed it. You want live tracing? We've got it. Like we're just getting all
you
these
want
things that we
yeah.
wanted.
They recently did performance updates. So things that I would do that would crash no
Hmm.
longer crashes to the same degree. And
The
what would
dream.
take minutes to, and I would say I'm running hard, like quote unquote older, like tech two or hardware.
Sure.
So I remember literally talking to someone that is on the Illustrator team, like, hey, my files are slow. Like it took me like 3 minutes the day I was talking to them, to move this thing. Granted, I was doing a lot of things that are normally done in raster, just completely native in Illustrator, so it's not necessarily built to do that. But
Sure.
she's like, "Did you update it?" Our developers have worked so hard on streamlining and making those processes so much quicker. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come right back to you. And we were
Nice.
at this was like in person, so like I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
it
yeah.
there, and then I showed her, and I was like, "Hey, this is actually I take back what I had just said. This
Yeah, yeah,
is
it's insane.
fantastic. And I haven't complained about it since. I haven't complained about it
Yeah.
since.
I mean, it's nice, they understand, and, like, I think that's the one difference, I at least, like, with this company that I've appreciated just as someone that has worked on different sides and worked with different programs is I always find myself coming back to Illustrator and coming back to Photoshop because those things are changing and, like, the quality of
Yeah,
life things are so like, I don't know, they keep thinking of new stuff that I'm like, I don't even really know if I needed this in the moment,
yeah.
but now I'm realizing I don't want a life without it. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
so
I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean. It's just the nature of it all, isn't it?
mhm.
Uh, Real quick, I just want to match my sketch here, so I'm making this right side up
Love
arrow.
it.
I don't know if you play Club Penguin at all.
Oh yeah, dude, that's my
Yeah, so
childhood.
like for me, it's like a box icon isn't complete without the up icon that
Yeah.
they introduced, and kind of they had a box design. I was just looking at some artwork about it just a few days ago. I used to pull so much inspiration from Club Penguin. It's like palpable at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
But I'd say my line work, it still is. It's left such an impact on me.
That's
Um,
interesting. I'm curious to hear in chat, where have you pulled from in terms of reference from your childhood or from formative years, because like it's all for me. And this, I think we've got a bit of an age gap, you and me, Matthew, so you might not
Not
remember
that
this one,
much. Come on.
but I take a ton. I mean, just like absolute ton of influence from Schoolhouse Rock. That's like my baseline, and I love that show. I watched it so much as a child, and
Yeah.
it has translated so much in my work. So it's interesting that you say Club Penguin for you
Oh,
is your
I
point of
see. I
reference,
actually, I do see that. I've never put two and two together, but you're totally right.
The
Yeah, no,
big blocky
I see that.
70s letters, like, or
Yeah,
I guess 80s. Just I don't know, it's very clicked with me and stuck with me for forever.
yeah. Well, this is me building off of kind of. Well, it's funny because the sketch, the generative concept of vector is building off of
Mhm.
the sketch I provided, and then
Right.
building off of the vectors that it's providing. So
So
just
good.
cleaning up kind of what we're looking at here. And honestly, it's I kind of like where it's going. It's not following perspective fully. Maybe if I wanted to do that, I would kind of go back and isolate and just drag this point down. So that
Mhm.
looks so much more in line. But I kind of just like the goofy feeling, if you
Yeah.
will.
The
That goofy.
dramatized.
Yes, yeah, and I'm loving that in like kind of the way that those lines are moving. Obviously, though, this isn't futuristic, and I kind of want to see a futuristic version of it. So like okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Yeah.
see kind of let's see, let's take this again. So this is our generative version, and let's
Mhm.
see, let's use this drawing preset here. I want to
Oh, fun.
see what it gives me because this is just clean line work, but there's some brush detail. So I'm curious if it'll give me the brush detail along lines or if it's going to add shading, if it's going to kind of do all these things that the thumbnail is kind of giving us. And even now, the
Yeah, I'm
generations.
curious how it'll interpret this, and I think it's so interesting, like, I don't wanna jump ahead, of course, because I know we're gonna get
No, no,
into a
no, no,
lot,
no.
but looking at these options of, like, 3 color, 6 color, 16 color, like, or I guess 18 color, no, 16 color, like,
Yeah.
these are all things that I would say if you're someone that uses image trace, very familiar. They make it very
Mhm.
accessible, and the wildcard option, I think, is something that's pretty new for Illustrator. I know it's pretty popular in
Huh.
Premiere at the moment, but we're getting some
Mm,
randomization, which I kind of like.
I see. I see. Dude, I'm gonna. Oh man, I wish I could just run these all at once. I'm
Yeah.
so something that I really like about Firefly boards.
Hmm.
Obviously, translating a vector is it's a tough task for a computer to do. It can't
Right.
do it all yet. It will eventually.
Right.
Um, I feel like down the line, but
Yeah.
Firefly boards, you can kind of just throw in some prompts, kind of queue them up, which I think is really cool.
And just run them
So I'm
back to
kind of
back to back to back to back to back.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So kind of like if you're thinking, especially kind of, oh, wow, check that
Oh.
out. Wow.
Wow.
Is that live text? I think that's live text. It's even provided
Nice.
live text. That's incredible. But
That's
even then,
impressive.
it's built out my sketch even more. It recognized that it was a car and those issues that we ran into earlier about like oh my it lost the front part of my hat. Nope,
Right.
it's there.
Yeah, it got it
It's
this
there.
time.
Yeah, but
Man.
I'm noticing like kind of from my end, it's operating very similar to kind of image trace, more or less, more so in those sketch artifacts that it's producing. And I kind of mean
Right.
that in a way of like, oh, those circles and those kind of half circles. I just my eye is kind of geared to that. So
Right.
if we want to see like, oh, like what are some ways that we can fix that? Let's totally do that. So let's jump into here. I'm just gonna really quickly just I don't need this. This is like closer to white. I'm just going to directly select or use my lasso tool. Take those irregular points that I'm kind of noticing, those sharper edges. I want those to be smoother. So using that smooth tool that we talked about earlier, I'm just going to kind of click here for our smooth function. Just going to smooth those out. So it's less
Nice.
noticeable.
Yes. Less
Yeah.
sharp. Definitely has like a bit more of like a shaded vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. But I kind of want to go back to this. There are some things that I just freaking love about this.
Yeah.
So I love kind of these darker liberties that it's taken. I don't yeah, I did not shade in the inner portions of the vehicle. So it's really
Right.
cool to see that it's taken those shadows in mind and kind of worked off of that. Even things, dude, like if I was going in, let's say in Photoshop, right, and
Mhm.
going in with like a brush underneath those lights, it's simulating that just so well.
Right.
It's done really nicely.
And
But
all in
again, we're kind
vector.
of yeah, 1000%. So you need if you're on the go, you need to kind of use these things. It's fantastic. But if you kind of there's things here that I really like still that I love those like kind of like those brush edge strokes. So if you really
Hmm.
want to introduce that kind of fine level of detail that we can kind of see here, you can also just go to, if you open your brushes, I'm just going to open that up so we can see that in our window here. And if I go, to, oh, sorry, it's right here. If you go into your libraries, if you go into artistic and you pull up paintbrush, we can
Oh
introduce
wow.
those features that we're looking for. And honestly, I freaking love these. These are
I've
great.
never used
So
these
the
before.
dude, these are actually so solid.
Yeah.
Um, people love building their own, and I actually love building my own too. It's such a great thing that you can build them natively in Illustrator. I personally try to save as much money as possible. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
so. Building my brushes is normally kind of the way that I go, but also, it's to each their own, right? But I
Hmm.
love kind of owning a lot of kind of different parts of my personal artwork. So if I'm doing stuff for myself, I try to go from 0 to 100, so it's all me,
All
no kind of
scratch.
outside,
Yeah.
all scratch. So I'll try to build on my own. It's a great challenge. So if you're kind of looking for new things to do in Illustrator, please by all means give it a shot.
Make your
But yeah,
paintbrushes.
yes, exactly. And these are great kind of to edit off too. So almost like superimposing one after another gives you something new. And then
Hmm. Hmm.
it's a fun thing to do. But yeah, let's take these because I'm looking for something with like some great edges to it. And then let's just give it a darker color. Yeah, so it'll give us
That's sick.
those fine lines that I'm looking for, and then using the smooth tool right there. So it would give me what I'm looking for here. So let's say I removed that shading and then just introduce this here. I have my stroke scale effects on, so I don't have to resize anything to scale. Hit simplify, and then we can just move this, and then it gives. It looks like under eye bags now,
A
so
little
I
bit.
maybe wouldn't do that. So the way that it had it was great. I'm just gonna copy kind of what that looks like. Use the scissors tool, use C.
Man, but I really like this though. I like the ease of being able to just jump right into it and kind of add your own little
Yeah,
twists and make the edits on the fly. And like you said in the intro, like these sketch to vector, or I should say concept to vector uh processes, like they don't have to just end with like clicking the button. You know, you
no,
can get
no,
in, get into the
they
nitty gritty.
yeah, they definitely, and I think like they shouldn't. I think as artists and as people that are making things kind of for the world to consume,
Hmm.
our eye should still be kind of on the ball per se, right?
Right,
We
right.
should get to know every corner of our illustration first, which for me, it's so important to start with that sketch. We lay down the groundwork, and then there are things that like line work that are so tedious that can now kind of be done. But it's also important kind of for that like final piece of art, that exploration,
Hmm.
it's key. I think that's kind of the creative soul of anything that we're making. And
Definitely.
again,
I
it's like
100% agree.
things we like it's crazy to think that this is the conversation we're having because we were like earlier we were talking about like, oh, I was inspired by Legend of Korra, right?
Right.
And just kind of extrapolating on that, these things that we're inspired by. And like even though generative is just so good now,
Hmm.
like I'm not letting that kind of affect that creative process. That creative
Right.
process, it's so wildly important. It's something that I love to see. But at the same time, talking about where we're pulling inspiration from, we can now pull that from concept to vector. So
Right.
this is, as I've talked about, it's not necessarily leaning futuristic in the way that I want. This is definitely more pulling from like that
Yeah, yeah.
1920s, 1930s vibe. So I'm gonna want to think work on that a bit here. So
Yeah,
let's see.
we'll love to see it. I also want to give you a little
Well,
bit of a time check since we're just churning and burning. We've got about
yeah.
22 minutes left. So we're over
Oh,
halfway, but we're crushing.
right on. Okay, I want to keep. Let's. What do you think, Jacob? Should we kind of stay on this illustration and kind of see the rest of kind of what we've been building out here, or do you think we should jump into something new? I'm leaving it up to you.
I would love to see at least one more take on this illustration because,
Yeah,
the rule
right.
of threes, of course, right?
No, I completely agree. So let's do that.
Yeah.
We already played around with some of these thumbnail images that we see here, kind of on our top right. So
Hmm.
if you're kind of joining and like working alongside us, feel free to kind of let those play out as we go. But I am going to, let's see, I am going to give it a shot here with, let's see, a steampunk futuristic car. car. Yeah, car.
Hmm. Hmm.
Driving through the busy streets of a opulent
His
city.
nickel and dime words, man. That's some prompting
Nickel
right
and
there.
dime words. I'm gonna take that. I love that phrase, nickel and dime, dude. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's
Five and
an
dime.
old head
No, what are you
term.
talking about? No, no, no. No,
That's
that's
awesome.
good. We're playing with the theme, right? It's like
Right.
we were just in the 1920s thinking about kind of where that car, pulling inspiration from kind of Indiana Jones,
And now we're jumping into the
adventure.
proverbial time machine, going
Yes,
into the
exactly.
future. This is
Going
gonna be
88
cool.
miles per hour.
Yes,
Exactly.
good good
Going
reference. Good
straight
reference.
straight out there, dude. Oh, man. Back to the Future. Did that is it for no, 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 it turned 40 last year. I was gonna say,
Yes.
man,
Yeah, yeah. They actually the cast came to an expo here in Calgary, and
no
we got
way.
to kind of see them floating around, and what a wholesome
Ah,
cast, you know? Still
yeah.
kicking, still doing their thing. It's really, really cool.
Oh man. No,
Can
that
you tell
that's
that we
that's
like
good.
pop culture stuff, chat? Can you tell that
Yeah,
we like
that's kind of
things?
everything we've been
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about right now. No, it's I don't know. It's like it gives us so much to be inspired by, and then it gives us so
Yes.
much to play off of kind of as our own creatives. Kind of if I just want to touch on this, if you're joining now in our live stream,
Yes,
welcome.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
just working with kind of these sketches that I've worked on kind of in the past, but I didn't have enough time to finish these out. The start of
And
the
we are
year, everything
highlighting
gets
concept
so
of
busy.
vector.
Yep, concept of vector, where it's giving me clean white line work to play with. It's giving me an iteration process so that if I'm really on a time crunch, I can go in there, make some edits as well. Let's see, where is it? Ah, it just gave me very
Oh,
simple line work. It was working.
interesting.
I was working so hard off of that initial sketch,
Yeah,
but
maybe it has
I've
a little bit too it's pulling too close to the reference in
yeah,
this
but
case.
I have done it in the past, and it's actually given me kind of a really good generation. But what
Mhm.
if it's the model? Let's give it a shot. So let's
Yeah,
see. Let's
maybe we
go
can change
to
up the model.
GBT image 1.5, which gives us 10 credits to work with. So
Nice.
that's four times as less as the Google one if we were working with limited generative credits. So let's
Mhm.
give this a shot again. You know what? Actually, there's also a way that we can forget where it is. It's right here and our reference. So it's
Nice.
matching our reference image so much. So let's just bump that up
Oh,
right here. So see, again, it's working off of this sketch that I drew myself, but it's giving me something to really think about, some things to play with. If I'm stuck, if I'm in a rut, it'll really help me out here.
right. So we can
Even
actually
though, yeah,
change the reference of the model, like how close it's wanting to pull from that original idea.
oh yeah, yeah, and it's a pretty cool thing, man. I wish I could zoom while we're generating here. I wish I zoomed in earlier, but honestly, the line work is even though it's
It's
not
pretty
close to
yeah,
what
yeah.
I was asking, the line work is really good.
It
So
looks
I'll just have to
great.
keep it in mind. Yeah, no,
Yeah, this is
it
really,
looks
really cool.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
so much control with this tool too. Like, yeah, I see that we have options for roster output as well, and just like,
Oh,
wow, this just went
yeah.
a completely different route. I mean, but it kind
Check it
of,
out.
honestly, you can tell it did pull from that positioning. Like
Yeah,
this, you can
yeah.
tell that that was from the reference of the original image.
Yeah, and I think there are things to kind of point out as well, maybe with maybe where it's pulling some of these references out. So it's
Hmm.
taking maybe that first steampunk descriptive word that I gave it and it's using that as the base separated by the comma. So it's giving us well, I want to highlight opulent here because I've actually never used
Right.
that in a generative thing. So I was giving it a shot. Man, dude, this
Hmm.
is so. Oh, dude, I love the way that this poster did come together because I think
Yeah.
when I think about the way the future was depicted way back when, we think about
Right.
travel, we think about where we're going and how we're going to get there. So
Hmm.
the car in not the foreground, but at the center is essential to get for getting us to point A to point B so quickly. But we
Right.
see other modes of transportation, like this train in the background, even though it's not
Yeah.
clearly depicted. That's kind of the idea of
Right.
what's back here, what's on this bridge, man. But even this, I love stuff like this. We never see it in architecture anymore. Just
Yeah.
arches,
Big
steel
glass
arches, and
planes.
oh my gosh, yeah, it's so cool. I get it; it's expensive. We have bottom lines, sure, But let's bring
Yeah,
that
let's go
back. I think
back. Bring
something like
back
that.
the whimsy.
Let's
Where
go
did
back.
whimsy
Yeah, I
go?
know. Where did whimsy go? Who? Yeah, no one knows who that is anymore.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, have you ever been on a hot air balloon? I think I'm too scared to go
I've
on one, but
not. That's my
yeah.
nightmare, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Anything that's like has limited control, no thank you, man.
Oh man. Would you ever then do a dirigible, a Zeppelin?
I
Whoa.
think about the disaster, man. I don't know. It scares me a little
Did
bit.
you have you ever seen, and I was talking about steampunk, have you ever seen Rocketeer, the Rocketeer?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, even the Rocketeer, right? The giant
Hmm.
Zeppelin at the end, does it crash? I think it
I think it
crashes.
does. I think it does.
I mean, they get into that final fight up there, and it's got to go somewhere, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely.
so yeah, and I mean, even to that point, it's like they need so much space to clear too. It's almost like there's so much there could be, room for error. But
Hmm.
again, it is what it is.
Hmm.
But it's cool stuff. But we're talking about steampunk, and we
Hmm.
have 20 minutes, give or
Yeah,
take,
yeah, yeah.
left here. Let's go
20,
ahead.
20-ish.
I'm curious, kind of using another model. I do want to see more of this, and then maybe we'll just do this one very quickly,
Sweet.
a rendered version of it. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I'd be
see.
curious to
Yeah,
see how Gemini interprets this with a lower reference
yeah. I
match.
actually, I'm interested you bring that up. I'm very interested in that as well. Because now let's just bring this back to less the way that we did, or maybe I want to keep the fidelity. I want to keep kind of
Yeah.
my groundwork that I've kind of laid out, the foundation, if you will. And then
Hmm.
let's see, is there a different Gemini we can use? Let's do 2.5.
2.5 or
Let's give that a
3.0, yeah.
shot. 10
I
credits.
think
It's a lot, significantly less.
okay.
Yeah. So let's
Good to
let's let's
know.
give that a shot.
I
So
think what I like
comparing just kind of
about
the two.
the slider going to the further less is like I like to think of specifically the concepting with these tools as kind of like
Mm,
the box, right? Like it's similar to if I were to send not a prompt, this is ridiculous, but like send like a conversation with a friend of like, hey man, I need to think of some concepts for XYZ and do some thumbnail sketches.
right,
What
right.
do you think would be a good idea? And this is kind of that way to kind of just start slamming the keyboard, keep hitting those options, seeing what you get. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah, yeah.
going more or less, and just seeing what we can do. Dude, this is
Ah,
nuts.
ah,
This is
dang.
cool.
Ah, that's really
It
good,
pulled
dude.
really well.
Oh, what I love about this is that it there's this
Yeah.
glass road. I would want that. I
Yeah.
would want that in the
Yeah.
city
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Like imagine like my gosh, if we're thinking about we keep bringing up like pop culture. We think about oh shoot, what's the rich planet in Star Wars? I don't even know.
Oh gosh.
Well,
Hold
and
on.
you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Pretty much they blow it up in the first one and then they make so much content out of it
I'm
later.
looking it up.
Um yeah, thank you.
Coruscant.
Not Coruscant, yeah. But think about those flying cars. Think about all those things. But
Yes.
I think realistically, to some degree, it's like hover cars could exist, but
Yep.
having glass bridges where it's trying to simulate that effect, that
Hmm.
otherworldliness to our regular lives, it's cool.
It's
But dude,
outside of those
even
concepts of what you would initially think of in pop culture, and then you can just
yeah,
expand on it further and further.
yeah. Oh man, and then dude, this is
Yeah,
this
the
is
clock
so
tower is
rad.
pretty sick
Clock
with all
Tower,
the
Clock Tower is great. It's keeping in mind those different things to be aware of as we're illustrating, kind of things to
right.
frame and what to include. Check it out. It also knows that that's the this way
The
up
up.
arrow.
Yeah,
Oh
so
man,
cool.
it's taken like those boxes. I didn't even finish the boxes. Like if we saw the line work is like just right back here.
Right.
We can see I didn't even like finish doing those boxes. It's connected them here.
And it made
But dude,
them
it even realizes that like, oh, steampunk, let's do luggages. Let's do luggages here.
yeah, so cool.
And
Also, I love
then
that it gave
yeah.
your character a little mustache. It's pretty
Oh
funny.
yeah, I know, right? No, it's a lot of fun. And then you can also just kind of go in here and
Yeah.
still make those edits. And something I really like from this more stylized version is that the contrast between those shadows kind of at the back.
Hmm.
So, if I really wanted to, I can just kind of take these portions and then find all that. Oh yeah, dude.
Wow.
I'm in love with kind of that contrast here that it's pulling,
Yeah,
especially for the
that's
undercarriage
awesome.
here. Oh, it's great. Oh
Deep
my
dark
gosh.
shadows. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm curious here how many colors it's including. So let's go to edit colors. Let's go to recolor artwork. Let's see. The window might pull up in a different tab.
There
Nope,
we
it's right
go.
here. Let's
Wow,
see.
it's a lot.
I can't count. It's a lot though. But let's see. Let's see what happens when we restrict the count. Let's see. Sometimes you just gotta click away. Still pretty
Oh,
rad. Let's see. And
interesting.
then if you really want to, you can just bump up
Just
the
totally
colors
switch it
here.
up. Yeah.
And then let's see. Make that a little lighter.
I did not know that
Whoa.
this was a feature that you could do within Illustrator, but I really like the limited palettes. Like, I like that you can
Yeah, no,
kind of bring
I
it
do
down.
too. Yeah, yeah. And actually the a way to redo that if you were curious, because we're not seeing a lot of contrast here,
Hmm.
is you can just take these arrows and emphasize what colors you want displayed more,
So
like that,
cool.
for example. So that it's changing kind of the background that you can kind of see. I'm obviously obscuring it a little bit because of our properties
Hmm.
panel here. Um, let's do, actually, I'm curious too. Let's do edit colors, recolor artwork. Give it a second to kind of clock in all those colors that we have
Yeah, all
here.
700 colors.
I know, right? Let's do, I think I did 20, so let's do 20. It works pretty fast too. And then let's
Yeah.
emphasize for the contrast here, those deeper colors, pushing those kind of to the side.
Yeah, I mean,
See,
now it's
see
kind
what
of
it
given
gives me.
this like smoggy
Yeah,
kind of like I don't know, like brown, like England, sepia tone vibe. So it's
yeah.
definitely giving that like steampunk to
Yeah,
me.
and kind of this is where I would want the colors to be. It's
Right.
got that contrast. Dude, it feels like a 2000 show pitch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's what the colors are giving me,
It's pretty
which
cool.
is really cool. And now, kind of with our last 2 minutes, let's
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
let's give this next illustration a shot here. So let's kind of move on down here, kind of work on these side by side almost. So
I'm
yeah,
really
we have our
excited to
base
see this one.
sketch here. Yeah, me too. There's more detail here, so I'm gonna want to see kind of what we're able to produce here.
Hmm.
So let's see. I'm gonna take this and copy and paste it, and then I'm gonna build out my prompt here, just kind of based on this original one. I kind of want to match it as
Right.
closely as I can. I'm gonna get a similar style. All right, so steampunk. Let's see. Ship. It's it.
Hmm.
Do ships drive? Sail.
Sail. There you go. There
Ship
you go. We're learning.
sailing above an underwater. I want to say industrial because I'm keeping
Yeah,
in
I
mind
like
kind of those
that.
steel beams, so I want to say industrial. Ship sailing above an underwater industrial city, dropping packages from above.
I love that.
And enter. Nope.
Close, close.
Close,
Generate.
right?
There we go. We're
Generate.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in. We're in, baby.
I'm
Let's
very
do this.
curious how it's going to interpret underwater. I feel like that's something a little
Yeah.
difficult for these models to grasp in a way of like
Hmm.
how those concepts or how, like the colors would differ from the reflections of the sea versus, on the ship and the shadows underwater. So I'm curious to see if it's able to encapsulate that.
Yeah, I think for me, just kind of looking at the sketch right here, just circling this out, I just kind of went over this because like, oh, the way to simulate the waves, we can do these lines in the back.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I've overlapped them with my box and my sketch. Again, let's say I don't have the original file, I can't make those edits.
Right.
Um, so let's see where it. Oof,
Interesting.
not bad at all. Not bad at all. So it's captured kind of that, not turret. Actually, no, I think it is technically
Yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called that. It even knows that I'm delivering packages from above, air and
Yeah.
aqua delivery, and this is live type. This is live type.
Wow.
This is, I mean, it's gorgeous type. What type is it?
It
Let's see. Do
sourced
I
that
have this
that
natively?
text as well too, didn't it?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
font, I should
it's
say.
rad. And then it even has an
In the
outline here in the
background.
back. It
Nice.
knows to look for that. That's
Nice.
rad, dude. Man, yeah, that's cool. And then it's given me this, honestly, a gorgeous steampunk ship.
Yeah.
Maybe I can show some of my Zeppelin. I did do like one Zeppelin piece, hot air balloon, not too long ago. So it's very different, but it's keeping in mind things like these bearings here.
Right.
It's very nice, very nice.
Definitely some
But
great things to kind of pull from and be able to kind of expand on a little bit further, right? Even if it wasn't from the initial image that we were
yeah,
thinking, it's still giving us some more kind of concepts to build off of.
yeah. and kind of eat like we changed the prompt a little bit too, but the styles can just be so different. So it's always best to go in and make those edits yourself. And I
Right.
particularly say that because I'm noticing that these are more illustrative features here. Oh,
Right.
more illustrative features here as opposed to kind of above right here. We don't see
Right.
kind of those liberties, those creative liberties. So
Hmm.
it is very different, but it's still the steampunk feel. I would see. I feel
Yeah.
like I would see this in like on a poster in some, let's see, themed bar, themed area. And you can
Absolutely.
kind of even see the drop shadow here. It's recognizing this is the ocean. I think it's
Hmm.
really cool.
Hmm.
It even kept my original
Yeah, it's pretty
lines,
funny.
which I think is
It
really
made it like a
funny.
little island.
Yeah, and let's do one more here. I do want to run one more, and then we'll
Yeah.
try to work a little faster as well,
We
because I want to
we
get to my
are gonna
last one.
get cut off on Behance in about 4 minutes, just to let you know. So we have a little less than the up to the 11, or I should say
Mhm.
noon, depending on where you're located. Um,
Cool. Yeah.
but yeah, we definitely have time to probably do one or two more, and then I'm thinking maybe if you're comfortable with it, we can kind of touch base for people that may not know, like jumped in a little late or that are watching the replay, kind
Totally.
of show us
Yeah.
what we did today.
Yeah, well, I mean, even to now we have a little bit of time because we're waiting for the generation. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of if you're joining us for this last leg of this stream, we're taking these sketches that I had made kind of with this Adobe Live community brief in mind and building out these futuristic posters that I just haven't had time to work on, but I would
Hmm.
love a kind of starting point to kind of go in with my own style, with live brushes and all that fun jazz, to make something that is uniquely my own. Right now, we're
Yes.
working on this kind of delivery kind of brand, kind of with like the steampunk future in mind. So it's the ship right here delivering packages underwater to this underwater sea. And ideally, I would have maybe put like in my sketch a figure right here, but I don't have that original file. So I would
Right.
just start natively in Illustrator just because, I mean, it's a human silhouette. Human silhouettes
Hmm.
in a perfect world are not terrible unless we're
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
replicate someone specifically. Then they take forever.
Oh, wow.
Wow, see, like it's an even different style. It this no, it this stream has come in like full circle so many
Yeah,
different times. We were just
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Avatar, and
Yes, it
like
does feel like Avatar, right? Like with the
it feels
swirls. That's
so
so
Avatar.
funny.
Dude, this is even recognized it as glass, which is
Yeah.
exactly. I didn't even like draw any details in my sketch
No,
for
no,
it to
no. It
recognize it as
understands.
glass, but it knows that, and
Yeah, this is
it's cool. It's
cool.
man, yeah, I will say, I think it's, oh man, this is so cool how it's interpreting it because this
Yeah.
is still by the sky, but this portion here is underwater and it's connected by that cloud.
Right.
It's a great idea that I'm gonna have to at least jump off of at some point. But this
Yeah.
is a great place to leave this sketch. Let's go in kind of
So
with our
schooled.
last one, and let's see here. I want to take this prompt. I'm just gonna copy it because we're running out of time.
But
And let's
yeah,
see.
I mean, this has
Yeah,
been such a great demo, like being able to
yeah,
see really the power of these concept tools and how we can build off of these and
yeah.
take some when I say half baked, by no means do I mean that you didn't put in the effort, but
I
ideas that we
appreciate it, but
don't,
I know what you
you
mean.
know,
Yeah,
yeah, that we don't like get to really flesh out how we want to, and then just
yeah.
expand on it further and further.
Let's see. Yeah, steampunk retro future sky city, um, with an industrial frame. Probably have to put this at the back. Um, with rowboats with wings. It sounds so stupid when
I
you
love
say it
that.
out loud. Steampunk retro future sky city with rowboats with wings with an industrial frame. Let's
Love
see
it.
what it gives us. Let's see what it gives us. Oh, I'm very
I'm
curious, and
very
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. No, you're all good. Anyways, for everyone on joining us from Behance, thank you guys for watching,
Yes.
and feel free to join us on YouTube to watch the
Yes.
rest of this generation.
Yes, please pop on by. The party's over on YouTube. We have people chatting away. It's a ton of fun.
Yes, we do.
And if you're watching the replay, make sure to start from the beginning. Or if you got all the way here, thank you for hanging out with us. And you should join the lives because the lives are so much fun because we have people chatting
Lives are
away,
so much fun. Yeah.
getting into it. And we have Pearly Cream Cheese thanking you for the demo. I'm seeing
Well,
that
thank
people
you so
really
much for
enjoyed
watching.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. It's
Oh, check that out. It's downloading fonts. Sorry.
I like that. I like that it tells you that it's like, okay, we're putting in the last
We're adding
details.
something. We're adding
Yeah.
something to your library, by the way. Keep that in mind.
We might be saving the best for last. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
Wow.
Sick. Wait, that's cool
Wow,
how it
that's so
interpreted
close.
your text.
Dude, it's even kind of got this in, I think it's interpreting it in perspective, which is cool. It's
Right.
keeping in mind those aspects I'm trying to keep in mind here. Dude, this is
Right.
so close. This is so
Yeah.
good. Look, this is like I didn't even realize until now that I didn't include rowboat or
That's
as
funny.
Rose. I didn't include Rose,
But it
which
interpreted
I
it that
would.
way.
Yeah, I did. And oh man, like this is fantastic. Like imagine seeing like maybe like I'm just gonna go with like my pen tool here,
Yeah.
like a little hot air balloon. Like oh man, I'm that's
Yeah.
a
Can you
great idea to
expand
work
on it
off
a
of.
little bit?
And even this like little drill here, I think it's maybe
Yeah.
pulling that from the industrial prompt that I
Right.
used.
Right. Right. Right.
But the most interesting thing about this one is I was in the process of rendering this out already.
Yeah.
So we can let me copy and paste this for those of us kind of joining. Here's your treat. This is kind of more of the work that I was working on. So it's keeping the shape here for my sketch here,
Yeah.
but again, you yourself can kind of build out those shapes as you like.
Right.
So you can kind of see here that I'm using like an offset path here, replicating these points and taking these like cleaner lines here and connecting them. Again, building off of that frame, I'm always thinking about grates and how we can incorporate that specifically for steampunk. And then for a stylized version, I was just using these kind of slash vertical patterns,
Hmm.
vertical striped patterns here just to do that shading. And I have just kind of a temp silhouette city in the back. But I wanted to kind of keep that in mind with here. But, we can also just add that here. This is it's great. But, going back to our steampunk generated image here,
Yes.
reminds me a lot of maybe what you'd see in like I think of like steampunk inspired, maybe Trader Joe's. I don't want to use
Yeah.
Trader
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe's as an example,
I get what you're
because
saying, though.
yeah, exactly, because all their stuff is hand painted, very well done. But
Yes.
it's very solid work,
Yeah,
very very great.
absolutely. I've got to say,
Yeah,
Matthew, this has been such an incredible demo. I had
thank you.
a ton of fun with us getting to see the power of concept to vector. And if you're
Right
watching
on.
or if you're tuning in live, replay or live, you should give this a try. It's available in Illustrator beta. It's a ton of fun to play with. It's a great way to break out of your comfort zone and really make some insane concepts come to life. Really just kind of with the click of a button. Matthew,
Mhm.
for people that want to stay up to date with what you're doing, what you have coming up, can you let us know where we can find you?
Yeah, well, you can find me most active on my Instagram, Matthew Chocro, Mathew, right there, kind of on my screen right there. And let's see, LinkedIn and my portfolio site is matthewchokro.com, Mathew, Everything back.
Yes, yes, our freshly updated website. So go check that out.
Yes,
Check out
yes.
Matthew's work. Give him a follow. He is an incredible resource and designer for all of your Illustrator tips. And make sure to stick around. Adobe Live is not over yet. We have an education stream coming up in about 1 minute because we went a little bit over. But Matthew, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Thank you guys for tuning in and stick around for the education stream. See you guys later.